Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. In what may be the most difficult moment in his term so far, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio attempted to lead the city in public mourning today for the two NYPD officers who were murdered over the weekend. This morning, de Blasio and his wife, along with Police Commissioner Bill Bratton, visited with the families of officers Wenjin Liu and Rafael Ramos, who were ambushed in their patrol car in Brooklyn late Saturday afternoon. At a press conference today with Commissioner Bratton and NYPD leadership, the mayor expressed solidarity with the families and the city's police.
The attack on these two officers, the assassination of these two officers, was an attack on the city of New York as a whole, on every one of us, on our values, on our democracy. We cannot tolerate such attacks. And I just ask everyone in this season that is supposed to be a season of understanding and joy, remember the meaning of this season, but first and foremost, remember what these families are going through. Put them first.
The mayor's remarks today come against the backdrop of weeks of protests here in New York against police brutality, and as the mayor faces an open revolt by rank-and-file members of the nation's largest police department. On Saturday night, as police and officials gathered at the hospital, the slain officers have been taken. Several officers turned their backs on the mayor as he passed by. The head of the city's biggest and most influential police union went even further.
There's blood on many hands tonight. Those that incited violence on the street under the guise of protest, that tried to tear down what New York City police officers did every day. We tried to warn, it must not go on, it cannot be tolerated. That blood on the hands starts on the steps of City Hall in the office of the mayor.
Two officers were shot through the window of their patrol car late Saturday afternoon on a busy intersection in the Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood of Brooklyn. Their assailant has been identified as Ismail Brinsley, 28, a man with an extensive criminal record and a suspected history of mental illness. Brinsley started the day in a suburb of Baltimore, where he allegedly shot his ex-girlfriend, Shanika Thompson, an Air Force reservist, who remains in critical but stable condition and is expected to survive. He then took a bus to New York, made his way to Brooklyn, according to police, telling two men on a street corner to watch what he was about to do before firing on the two officers 4 times at point-blank range and then running into a nearby subway station where he took his own life. Brinsley had previously been arrested at least 19 times and spent 2 years in prison for gun possession. Police said relatives told them he had a history of undiagnosed mental illness and had tried to hang himself a year ago. According to police, he left a trail of anti-government postings on social media. On Saturday, before carrying out the attack, he's believed to have posted on Instagram, quote, "I'm putting wings on pigs today. They take one of ours. Let's take 2 of theirs. Hashtag shoot the police. Hashtag RIP Eric Garner. Hashtag RIP Mike Brown." This marks the 4th targeted attack on police officers in this country over the past year, including the shooting in Las Vegas by 2 individuals linked to the anti-government sovereign citizen movement, the sniper-style killings of police by Eric Frayne in Pennsylvania, and the attack on a group of New York City police officers by an apparently deranged man with a hatchet just 2 months ago. In the wake of the shooting this weekend, Mayor de Blasio today called for a temporary halt to the protests that have gripped the city over the past several weeks.
I'm asking everyone, and this is across the spectrum, to put aside protests, put aside demonstrations. Until these funerals are past, let's focus just on these families and what they have lost.
At a press conference yesterday, Eric Garner's mother called on protesters not to commit violence in her son's name.
I'm standing here in sorrow about losing those 2 police officers. That was definitely not our agenda. We are going in peace, and anyone who's standing with us, we want you to not use Eric Garner's name for violence, because we are not about that. These 2 police officers lost their life senselessly.
Well, Garner's youngest daughter was spotted visiting the makeshift memorial that has sprung up where the officers were killed, saying she wanted to show solidarity with their families. In an interview on the Today Show this morning, Police Commissioner Bratton said the tensions in the city are the worst he's seen since the 1970s, but he hopes this will be what he called a change moment.
When I first came into policing, my first 10 years were around this type of tension. Who would have ever thought deja vu all over again, that would be back where we were 40-some-odd years ago. But we're in a change moment, I think is the term, here in the United States. And the idea is to take out of this crisis, find opportunity to move it forward.
Joining me now, Eric Adams. He's the borough president of Brooklyn, New York, and former NYPD police captain. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I've been born and raised in this city, and came of age in the early 1990s, a period of intense tension. There was the Crown Heights riots. I've never in my lifetime seen it as bad as it feels this. And this moment, this horrible, senseless murder, it just felt like it couldn't have come at a worse time in terms of that.
And that's why I'm extremely optimistic, because throughout my law enforcement career, I have seen and witnessed moments like this where it's extremely turbulent and we feel as though we're not going to get past it. But in reality, we do. And that's what's great. And that's why New York City Police Department, they are called New York City Finest. They're going to answer the radio calls. They're going to respond regardless of the political atmosphere.
That tape that we've been playing of the officers turning their backs, as someone who spent several decades as one of a member of the New York City Police Department, what's your reaction to that moment?
Should not have happened. It was a mistake. I think that Pat Lynch and the other union members are really concerned about their members, but we should never turn our back to the symbol of what the mayor represents. That office represents the people of the city, and we should never turn our backs to the people of the city.
Yeah, it almost seems like, to use a metaphor here, which isn't quite perfect, but the sort of principle of civilian control in a military context, that ultimately the police are answerable to the mayor. I mean, he's the democratically elected person that runs it, and whatever relationship issues they have, bargaining, objections to policy, that fundamentally seems like a really important and sacrosanct principle in terms of how the city is governed.
Yes, it is. And they're still police officers, and they're still responsible of having a certain level of decorum on respecting the office of mayor and what it means. You could have philosophical disagreements on the process to use to police, but in reality, the mayor is in charge of how we police the city of New York.
Were you surprised by Mr. Lynch's comments? I mean, the blood on the hands, they start in City Hall.
Yes, and I think, Pat, right now, he and all of the officers are feeling pain.
Anguish, yeah.
Right. That pain needs to turn into purpose. And the blood on the hand is of the sick person who carry out this action. And those who I believe are continuing the overproliferation of handguns, because the same blood that is on the hands that we see what happened to these two officers is happening to young people all over the country. And that is our focus. We can't have displaced anger. We have to have proper place implementation of good police practices.
You were out there, you led a vigil, I believe it was on Sunday night.
Yes.
I was down by the scene last night. It was a very moving, very intense scene. What are you hearing from police officers? Obviously, you spent your adult life inside that department. You've still got friends and colleagues and people that are your constituents in Bed-Stuy, in Brooklyn. What are you hearing from police officers?
Thank you. After the assassination of those two officers, many police officers felt that the community didn't care. That vigil showed them the different multicultural, multi-ethnic group came out and said, we are also mourning with you.
Yeah, I was struck last night by that part of the scene. The mayor today called for basically a reprieve, a pause in protesting. There's been some response from some protesters. They think that's essentially inappropriate. And their argument is, look, we have a vision for policy changes we want to see happen. We have nothing to do with this awful murder. We renounce it, we condemn it, but we still have an agenda we want to pursue. What do you think of the mayor's call for a pause?
To those who protest, there are fringe elements in every movement. And so there are those who I believe, no matter what happened, they believe in some mental outlook that we don't need police. Mm-hmm. There are those of us who understand we do need police and we appreciate police. That pause is important. That's what I said over the weekend. This is not saying stop your righteous pursuit for police reform, but we have families who are grieving. Let's respect those grieving families and come together.
Okay. Eric Adams, Borough President of Brooklyn. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Even before the shootings this weekend, the police unions have not been a big fan of Mayor de Blasio. He ran for office on a platform of ending the very controversial stop and frisk practice, which former police commissioner Ray Kelly described yesterday as an anti-police agenda. And ever since protests erupted in New York City over the non-indictment of the policeman who put Eric Garner in a fatal chokehold, many officers have felt the mayor took sides against them. Many took issue with de Blasio's description of warning his biracial son Dante about the dangers he may face in interactions with New York City police. And some said they felt betrayed when he used the word alleged, referring to an assault on 2 NYPD lieutenants during a protest on the Brooklyn Bridge. Just last week, the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association encouraged members to sign a waiver barring the mayor from attending their funeral in the event of their death. In the wake of Saturday's horrific murders, the tensions appear to have escalated into an open revolt. Multiple union chiefs have joined the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association's Patrick Lynch, saying there's blood on the mayor's hands, including the Sergeants Benevolent Association blaming de Blasio in a tweet. And this weekend, a memo purporting to be from the BPA, though the organization has disavowed it, circulated on Twitter describing the NYPD as a, quote, wartime police department, instructing officers that, quote, absolutely no enforcement action in the form of arrests and or summonses is to be taken unless absolutely necessary. Joining me now, MSNBC contributor Michael Steele, former chair of the Republican National Committee. Michael, I wanted to talk to you because police unions seem to me a sort of interesting institution, and I understand how upset, anguished, grief-stricken police officers are in New York. But what is your reaction to the kind of rhetoric we've been seeing from the police unions here in New York?
I think it's unnecessarily hot. It is obviously filled with a lot of emotion. It's also, I think, is relating back to whatever tensions were brewing in the mayoral race a year ago, and I think those tensions are still being played out. There's a clear distrust of this mayor by the police. The mayor's rhetoric initially has not done anything to create a salve for that, to sort of calm that and to bring the parties together. I think today in his press conference and certainly in visiting the families of these 2 police officers is a process, is a step that he's trying to take to begin that healing. But it's going to take a lot more, and it's going to take, I think, more face-to-face, one-on-one, away from cameras, away from protests, away from heated moments, where the police union and the mayor can sit down and talk about how they need each other. The communities need these 2 groups, these 2 entities, these 2 individual to work together, because that is the basis for all types of community policing. It begins in the mayor's office and it ends in the neighborhoods on the streets of New York. And you've got to make sure that that works. And if it doesn't, you're going to have more problems.
I've been struck. I mean, we had a representative of the Patrolmen's Benevolence Association of Cleveland on the show last week while I was away. Ari was sitting in. You were here for that. We've had on Jeffrey Rorda, who's the business manager in St. Louis for the Patrolmen's Benevolence Association there. I've just been struck by the kind of unanimity and uniformity of the kind of rhetoric we've seen from the police unions in these very kind of polarized, intense moments. It just seems to it gives no quarter or brook no nuance. It's this kind of very, very maximalist approach to dealing with what are manifestly to everyone watching them sensitive issues.
Well, yeah, let's keep in mind from the police perspective, and I agree with this perspective to a certain extent. They're out there on the front lines every day. The last thing they need is for their integrity and for their practices to come under questions. But that's part of being in this sort of, pluralistic democratic society. We do that.
Right.
And it's part of how we make ourselves better. Just because you wear the badge, you're not above the law, certainly. And every police officer knows that. So there's trying to find this area where police feel that what they do is respected and appreciated, and the citizens feel that what the police are doing doesn't infringe on their rights, and that the system isn't working against them, that police are getting special treatment, as we've seen alleged in certain cases recently, that other citizens wouldn't get. So this is the tension that I think that the mayor and the police association in New York, which quite honestly, Chris, around the country, I mean, New York is not immune from this. They're not alone in this.
No.
Other jurisdictions aren't immune to it. So this is a growing problem as we've seen the militarization of our police forces since 9/11, and a host of other factors that have now changed that dynamic in the relationship between police and the people.
Michael Steele, thank you very much for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
You got it, buddy.
All right, the sometimes reflexive mistrust between police officers and the community is due in large part to the police force looking nothing like the people they police. But in New York, the officers are as diverse or almost as diverse as the city they're sworn to protect. That story